And a very good evening to everyone. And oh my God, if you're watching this live, you're probably falling off your chairs right now because, yes, it is the social butterfly. Amy, you've been so busy lately.
Thank
And there, she's right back.
back
Blossom's
on
back.
cue.
Second on cue. You're right, Amy.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, look at this already. Yay, Amy. Is that
God.
Amy I see? Oh, oh look,
Sorry.
welcome
Sorry,
back,
everyone.
Amy and Blossom. They've missed you. Oh look, yay, Blossom.
I think Blossom has probably got more fans than me, to be honest.
Well, I tell you, I had someone message me the other day. I never told you this on WhatsApp, but they saw you in the North Bank, in the upper. I think you were upstairs for I think it was the Tottenham game, and they wanted to come over and have a photo with you, and they were scared to come over and ask.
Why were
Let
they
me- I,
scared? Do I
I
look that
said you should.
intimidating?
I don't. Well, I said to them, just go over. She says you'll, be nice, and she'd enjoy it. So why don't
I'm
you tell
only.
everyone what's been going on in your life?
Oh, it's just like post-COVID, like life returning to normal. Just had loads of stuff on weekends and stuff. So, yeah, so I've not been able to kind of commit to this, and yeah, my social life is quite busy, but but I'll come on here when I can. But it's nice to see everyone and hear from everyone
No, well,
again.
you said, didn't you? Because like when you can come on to co-host, you'll be on, and so that's and obviously a couple of them you haven't come on, even though you probably could because you've not been able to watch the game, and you like to be able to watch the game as well, obviously, and comment because you haven't been able to be there or get it on the
Yeah,
stream or anything.
yeah. So, but now I think a lot of things are over. So I am going to games now, but it just depends whether I'm out and about or not after, whether I can come on or what time Dave decides to do this. So I'll be on when I can, but it's nice to can she play midfield with the cat? Blossom probably could play quite well in the midfield. I don't know, but yeah, it's
Well,
nice to see
or she could
everyone.
play in goal, play as the cat, social life. Watch one of them, says Murph. Well, Amy can tell you all about that because she's Cardiff to Centre Parks to Wembley. You've been everywhere, and you've had some parties that you've been at as well, haven't you?
I know, yeah. I need a break from it all, to be honest. But
I know
yeah,
it's so
life
hard being
continues.
in so much demand, Amy.
So
Well,
I'm
let's
off
get.
to London tomorrow, so it
Oh, and she's off to
continues.
London
But
tomorrow.
that's
Just drop
work, so it's not a fun. Well, will be quite fun, but yeah, it
just
continues.
just drop that in. So, Amy, let's talk about obviously the game before we got Paul on first, and then Sam's following up with him. But let's talk about the game yesterday, and also because obviously we've missed you and you've not been here. I'm sure everyone's really interested to hear your take on the start of the season.
I mean, it's a tough one, isn't it? Really, because it's been frustrating. I think up until the Brentford game, there was a lot of confidence around everyone because obviously they beat Watford, which was fantastic, and then the 3 games prior to that, they were obviously very, very unlucky in terms of the amount of good play that they had, chances. Like how we didn't get a result against Man United is just beyond belief, really.
Oh,
But I think that everyone kind of got to a point against Brentford when it was like this can't continue because the game obviously they didn't perform against Brentford compared to what they had done previously, and that to me I was like, these good performances are good, but if they're not getting you A, first goals or B, results, then they're kind of futile, really. Like, as it's nice football to watch, but it can only be nice football to watch into a point in terms of thinking, well, yeah, it's great, but if we're not getting any points on the board, then we can play this football and we will 100% be going down. So it's a mix of confidence, but also frustration, I think, is how I sum it up. And then, and yesterday it was kind of the complete opposite in the fact that they didn't actually play that well, but they got the result. And I think if Southampton had been a bit more clinical, then it could have been a different story. But
you think you've
Southampton,
had Danny Ings?
well, yeah, maybe. I think he's probably quite a miss for them, isn't he? They didn't. There's obviously a lot of threat in the box in the final third, our final there, well, our half. But they didn't seem to do much with the ball really. So again, it was a good win yesterday, but obviously there wasn't, apart from the wonder goal, there wasn't really much to write home about for me. I think there was a bit of lack of creativity in midfield, which is something that we've had. But I think what was important to yesterday was to get the result, and obviously they did that. So, and I think off the back of that second half performance against Spurs in the cup last week was quite promising, and to come back from a very, very, very poor 30 minutes odd.
Well, it really was against Spurs, because my take on that would just come off from the defeat to Brentford, where none of us saw it coming really, and then Yerson went off injured, and then the confidence just seemed to be draining out the side, and then obviously Don got that goal, and then the confidence came flooding back.
Yeah.
And then obviously we went out on penalties. You couldn't have met. I think it's a thing with Portuguese midfielders in the last few days, because Ruben hit it over the bar, and then for United against Villa, what was it? Bruno Fernandes had a penalty right at the end, and then he hit it over the bar as well, almost identical to. Well, it was actually, I think it was more over the bar than Ruben's. And
yeah.
But,
So, but anyway, yesterday was hopefully a little bit of a turning point. The game they go on Saturday against Newcastle is, well, you just want to see a goal in the league at home, don't you?
Yeah, in the first half, a goal as well.
I mean, the first half might be pushing it, Dave, but
I know.
I take a goal at any point in the match, really. But that being said, I thought Jose Sarr had a very good game yesterday. I thought he made some quite critical saves and positioned, and he also got an assist. And it's not many times that goalkeepers get assists. So I think that's the difference for me between Sarr and Patricio, is that when he gets the ball, he thinks about the next move quite quickly, whereas Patricio used to hold on to the ball. So, and fun fact on Match of the Day too, for anyone that didn't watch it, is the last time a goalkeeper got an assist for Wolves was Wayne Hennessy in 2009. So there's your fun fact. That is Joel's Match of the Day. I can't take claim that's my own.
Oh, you could have done so easily then.
And they'd have all been like, "Just been watching Match of the Day."
You'd have been way too honest. So, I mean, what would your performance rating and your man of the match be? I think you're leaning towards Jose Sarr by the sound of it.
I don't know. It's a hard one, isn't it, for the man of the match? Because I think you've got to give it to Raul. Like, you can't not. But if I had to, then Sarr would be second, because I think he did make a lot of really good things. But it was just like that goal kind of epitomised everything that I think Raul's been through for the last. It wasn't easy. Like, I know he was clear through, but he had to get around those defenders, and
he wasn't clear through though, was he? Because he was behind the defender. He muscled his way through, got the ball, and then turned him inside out, took a touch, and kept his composure to finish that goal. That was the role of old, wasn't it? He virtually single-handedly, out of nothing, created that goal. And
so you've got to get, and the way that he just played, like the pockets of space that he was getting into, and it just seemed like he got his confidence back, which was just nice to see. And hopefully now, I keep saying to everyone, someone said to me yesterday, "Oh, he shouldn't have come back. Like, he's not the player that he was. He should have just retired." And you think, well, no, he just needs a goal. So now he's got that goal. I hope that he just starts playing without fear again, which is what he always used to do. But other than that, other than Raul, then it would have to be Sarr. And then I think performance rating. Hello, Princess.
Blossom's back again.
I'd probably say 6.5, because okay, they got the result, but they didn't really play that well.
And we've had a few 8s and 9s in terms of performance, but not got the result. And it was a flip to the first 3 games. Well, we're going to get on our first guest, Amy, a friend of the show, and always talks a lot of sense. And I'm going to put the thing, because we've got 3 of us on, and that'll be Paul. Hi, Paul. Loving your top, Paul.
Thanks. Yeah, nice to see you both, and good evening to everyone that's joining in tonight.
Hello. So I just saw one in the comments then. It was match of the day that told me that fact, not myself, so don't blame me.
Oh, right, who's put a comment there? It's got to be
Robert Fletcher.
Robert. How about Ruddy and Jota's goal last season? Well, it was man of the match, match of the day that quoted that stat, and they've got a lot of researchers. So
anyway,
Robert,
I digress.
We'll have to. We do. Paul, talk us through yesterday, mate, and talk us through how you're feeling.
In some ways, it was quite a good away performance. I know we can't say out and out it was a good performance. It was really exciting. But if you think about how shaky we looked against Brentford at the back, especially in the first half, and they could have won by more than 2-0, Brentford. And also that first half an hour against Spurs, they were carving us open at will. And I know that Sar's made a couple of good saves and interventions and had a very good game overall, but you can't really say that Southampton opened us up yesterday. And I think the first thing you've got to do when you've just had a bad defeat at home in the league is to go to your next away match and make sure that you're as tight as possible. So I don't blame him yesterday for not going all guns blazing, all out attack. The most important thing yesterday was to keep a clean sheet, because then it would only take one goal to win the game. And let's face it, we're not exactly prolific. So we're not going to go and outscore a team at the moment. So I think his primary objective yesterday, and that was possibly seen in the team selection a bit, was to make sure that we were solid, and we achieved that, I thought, yesterday. Mainly down to Sar, but also I think Cody needs a mention, because he's been getting a bit of stick. He hasn't been on top form. You could argue he's been at fault for a goal in the last 2 home games. But I thought his leadership, organisation, positional play was an essential part of our victory yesterday.
Yeah. No, I think, like you say, there was a few good shots that he saved. There was never a lot of like creativity or movement within their box that you thought would lead to a goal. So I think that's definitely a fair comment. But it was for me, and I think this is probably what you're alluding to, it was a good out and out team performance. It wasn't the nicest football to watch, but I think we've been quite blessed with quite nice football that hasn't been the most successful in terms of points in the last start of the season, essentially. So I think we'd all probably take a gritty performance, when the main thing tomorrow, yesterday even, was to get those 3 points on the board, which they did. And like you say, away from home is never easy. So
away from home, we've played 3 games in the league, and I think we could have had 9 points, because Leicester beat us 1-0, but on another day that would have been 1-0 to us, or even 2-0. I thought we played very well in that game. So we can take some encouragement from our away form. I think we've looked difficult to beat, but also I think we've carried a threat going forwards. Maybe not so much yesterday, but definitely at Watford and also against Leicester. So what is the challenge now is the Newcastle game on Saturday. This fixture traditionally ends 1-1.
Don't say that.
It's about time we some of these early season performances that we saw at home to Man United, Tottenham, we need to see that carried out now into a performance and a result at home. And Saturday is a great opportunity to do that.
So with that in mind, considering that you would probably liken Newcastle to a bit of a similar team to Southampton, would you go with the same type of approach and tactics, or would you go, being as we're at home, would you shift back to more of the forward attacking style play that we saw in the first 2 games?
It's a dilemma, isn't it, for the manager? I think we have to try and take the game to them, but I think we have to be creative in our approach, because say what you want about Newcastle, They're a pretty average side. They're not going to be easy to beat. We always have trouble beating them. So he's got to try and find a balance between being creative and attacking and also looking very solid at the back. And I think we saw that happen in the first few games, albeit without the results.
I think against Man United, you could say that definitely happened. They just couldn't find the back of the net for whatever reason.
But if we get the first goal, that's massive, I think. And I know you mentioned it a minute ago about not scoring in the first half.
I know.
It's winding me up now.
It's winding me up, Paul.
When was the last time they actually scored in the first half in the league?
Even in the cup match, we didn't score in the first half against Forest.
Yeah, we put 4 past them in the second half. Yeah, I know. They've got to find. I was going to say the word solution then, but I didn't.
Don't say that word.
They've got to find a way to get the noses in front, because then teams like Newcastle have got to come out at you. And what you can't do against us, if you're a goal down, is leave lots of space behind, because we've got such pace and skill, that it would really suit us, wouldn't it? I think. So what I want to do, to answer your question, Amy, from a minute ago, I want to see us go hard and early against Newcastle and try and get the first goal early, because that's going to play into our hands and not theirs.
Yeah.
And their danger man, was it Maximus, isn't it? Whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Alan St. Maximin.
I love the look of him. He looks like he would be a good Wolves player. He's definitely a danger. He's kind of their Traore, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He's a big threat. I think Callum Wilson's still going to be out, thinking ahead to that game, which is good news for us.
Probably good.
So what we couldn't do is go into the international break, because I think that's after the Newcastle match, isn't it? You wouldn't want to be going into that having not beaten either Southampton or Newcastle and still been on, say, like 4 points or something. Instead, we've got a chance to go into the break on 9 points, which makes us have something to build on in the next round of games.
I'll tell you what, if we end up going into the next international break on 9 points with everything that's gone on, I'll be like so pleased with that. Do you know, I mean, Paul, do you know the last time we won at home in front of our own crowd? Remember,
Norwich, 3-0, February 2020.
That's a long time to wait to see us win at home. I mean, I know we've seen us win at home in the pandemic, but boy, we need it, don't we? The players need it, the fans need it. It's kind of, I put it in that little situation like Raul needed that goal, and the joy on his face, the joy on his teammates' face, the joy on the fans' faces, whether you were in the crowd or where you were watching it on the TV, everyone was so joyous and happy that he got that out the way. He scored. Psychologically, it's a big psychological barrier, and I think Wolves winning at home in front of their crowd is a very similar thing, is that we need to break that psychological barrier of not being able to win in front of our own fans since February 2020. That's 18 months. And I know, as I say, that a few of those are through the pandemic, but it's still a psychological thing. We've got to back it up. We didn't back up the Watford result against Brentford. And I felt a little bit better after losing to Brentford, the way they played against Liverpool. Brentford have got this momentum. Tony's on fire. They've got confidence running through the team. And it all comes through, as you've seen sometimes with a lot of promoted teams, Wolves included, Sheffield United. That first season, if you've got the momentum, then it can carry it through into the second season, that sometimes teams come unstuck. And I feel a little bit better, but I mean, I think we've got to back up that Southampton result by beating Newcastle. I think with 3 points is a must.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree.
I mean, there'll be debates about whether you should play 5 or 4 at the back against Newcastle. I haven't seen much of them this season, but if they're a team that's going to play 1 up front and we're going to have 3 centre-backs, that's a waste, in my opinion. So whatever Bruno's thinking of doing, I think it needs to take into account if Newcastle play 1 or 2 up front. And I saw in the comments a moment ago, one of the viewers mentioned Ait Nouri should come in. I believe that should be the case as well, because I think Marcel is more suited to being a left back, not a wing back.
Yeah.
And I thought Ait-Nouri looked pretty promising actually against Tottenham. He had a few good runs forward.
He's very attacking as well, Ait-Nouri. He's got a lot of tricks and skills. He's like an upgrade on Vinagre.
Yes, he is. Yeah, I can see him, if he plays on Saturday, being involved in a goal way more than I could see Marcel. Plus, you mentioned
Marcel might be involved in a goal the other end if he drags people down again.
Well, I was just coming on to if they do play Saint Maximin, surely Ait-Nouri would be better equipped to deal with him because he's quicker as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so, Marcel is a bit slow, isn't he?
I think Bruno needs to just say to himself, if I'm playing 3-5, 3-4-3, Ait-Nouri is my first choice wing back. If I'm playing 4 at the back, then I might think about playing Marcel until John is back.
I've got a question for you, Paul. If we're playing 4 at the back, you know what I'm going to ask you, don't you, Paul? Yeah. What's the question?
Are you going to play Connor?
Are you going to play Cody in the back 4? Who's your back 4?
I don't think you can leave him out. I think he brings too much to the team to leave out. Okay, he's not been on top form, but for me, I would play him. And I know people's reservations are due to perhaps a slight lack of pace. But if you play him as a right-sided centre back, he'd have Nelson Semedo covering, who's one of the quickest defenders in the league. And I often think that pace is a slightly overrated commodity in general. So for me, if I was playing a 4, I'd probably go Connor, and I don't think you can drop Kilman. That's harsh because I think Willy Bolly played quite well against Spurs.
And I was surprised Willy Bolly wasn't in the starting lineup. I mean, Amy and Paul, because at the weekend, because I was surprised that Saeed got the nod.
Yeah.
Yes and no. I think that back 3 is within the league is obviously what they've been used to, and I think after the Brentford game, it was probably quite key that they had a game back together to build confidence again. But I can see Bolly playing on Saturday.
Neil White says only Bolly's good enough.
Yeah, I think he played very well against Spurs, and I was very surprised not to see him, particularly in a 3. I was surprised not to see him come in for Sace, but I guess it's kind of nice that Bruno's got a few options to think from. We're not sat here saying, "Oh, we should have got that centre half in." We probably should have, but at least we've got some players who can play there and do an adequate job. But we've got to put this Newcastle home jinx to bed on Saturday, and one way to do that is to get Ait-Nouri on, and I think he's got to start Traore. It just gives us so much and makes us look so much more dangerous. He's got to be in the starting 11.
Yeah, I think for this game and stuff as well, I think it's key. But all I'm thinking of, the first ever Wolves game that I properly remember everything about is that FA Cup one back in the day. So I've got hope.
Yes, George and Dar back post. Yeah.
What's the George and Dar song? Oh,
can't remember now.
Oh, George and Dar. That was Eman's Flake, wasn't it?
No, they were singing George and Dar, my lord, George and Dar.
Oh, yeah, that was it. See, Paul, you've got it. So, Paul, let's hear your man of the match and your performance rating.
Special mentions to Jimenez, obviously, and Connor Cody, but for me, Jose Sarr. I think what he brings, I know Amy made a good point before about him thinking about his next move before he's got it and launching attacks. For me, what he has ahead of Patricio is he comes off his line more.
Yeah.
And we saw some good evidence from that at the weekend. Performance rating 7. As I said earlier, I think it was not a bad away performance. Yes, it lacked a bit of cutting edge. Yes, we didn't create as many chances as we have been, but I think that we did look pretty solid. And we got the win through a moment of brilliance from the Mexican sensation.
The
I'll
king
tell you
is
what
back.
as well. He was everywhere, Raul. He was at the back defending. He was in the middle, winning the ball. He was tracking back. He was all over the pitch. He was so fired up. And did you see that one little bit? I know he tried in the previous game, the Ramona or wherever it was. It didn't quite come off. But did you see that little flick that they highlighted on Match of the Day? That's Raul of Hull. That is.
He's a clever guy, and it's a good point that you said about what he brings to the team defensively. At Watford, I counted, he won the ball back 5 times for us.
Yeah.
And he's so good at defending set pieces on that near post. So, yes, he took his goal very well, but he did contribute to the team in those other ways as well yesterday.
And that's what we were missing last season, wasn't it?
And now he's got that goal. I think we'll, because when you're a striker,
don't say it, Dave. Don't jinx it. Don't. I know exactly what you're going to say, and just don't. jinx it.
No. But when you're a striker and you've not scored for a while, you try to a little bit too hard to put the ball in the net. Hopefully now he's scored. That'll relax him a bit. Is what I was going to say.
We're due a penalty as well on Saturday, so I back him to step up and dispatch a penalty on Saturday.
All right. Going to say he's going to score like 10 goals or something on Saturday. Know what you're like.
Oh, Jason Tandy says, if you bottled that emotion when Raul scored, oh my God. Amy, tell me the reaction that you had where you were watching.
Just leapt off the sofa and screamed.
And where did you watch it, Paul?
I was at home and both of my girls were off the sofa when we scored. They loved it. They were so happy. Yeah. We've watched the replay loads of times as well. They love it.
It gets more beautiful, that goal, every time you watch it, I think.
Yeah, and I did capture the goal. Don't know if you've watched it, Paul.
Yes, I've seen it, Dave. Yeah, I saw your clip that you sent.
Oh, man. And I tell you what, I couldn't believe I caught it so well. And then the reaction of him jumping in the crowd and stuff.
Surprised your phone didn't go on the pitch or something. I'd be if I had my phone in my hand.
To be honest, you just have instincts sometimes when you just go to capture something. Because I don't obviously stand there the whole game. It's just I think that something might happen, and I just got it. And it was such a good piece of footage that I had to give it its own airtime on the channel. Because obviously emotional that Raul hadn't scored and it was a winner and everything as well. I'm just so chuffed with that bit of footage that I've managed to catch, and the celebration, and then all the fans. Paul, absolutely wonderful to have you on again. Thank you for giving up your time. Loving the Castori training top that you've got there. And,
thank you. It's a good purchase.
Do you want to give a score prediction for Newcastle? Do you want to go for it?
It can't be 1-1 again. It can't be after so many. I'd like to say that we're going to win 2-0.
2-0.
Raul Jimenez on the score sheet.
I'll take that, mate. RM says, I'm not going to cry. I might have shed some tears after he scored, then heard, see, senor. Helen Robson says, hi, Dave and Amy. Rob Watson here. Enjoy your shows very much. Been a Wolves fan from the age of 10 in 1950. Great to see them back in the top flight. You do a great job. Thank you. That's really nice. And Jason Tandy says, shed a little tear. I'm not embarrassed to say that. Great capture of the goal. And Stuart, just finishing off with your segment. Stu says, good work again, Paul. Top man.
Thank you. Yeah, pleasure as always.
Hope to have you on after Newcastle, buddy.
Yeah, all being well, I'll be at that one, taking my daughter as well. So she's got the bug now, big time.
Oh, that's lovely. She's enjoying it. Fantastic. Thanks, Paul.
Yep, cheers.
Bye.
See you soon, everyone. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Just before we get on to Sam, a question from Craig to you, Amy. How are you, Amy?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Craig, you can leave a comment and Amy says, how are you? So you can answer that. Robert says, must be contender for goal of the season already. Well, our goal of the season for definite. We've only scored 2.
I know. At least we've got more than the own goal now on the board.
He-Chan's was the other one. Watford, He-Chan and Raul Jimenez are joint top scorers for Wolves this year. What you eating there, Amy?
Doritos.
Doritos, fantastic. Well, we've got Sam next. Hello, Sam.
Hello,
Hi, Sam.
Dave. Hello, Amy.
No, I don't think we've spoken before. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Are you?
Yeah, positioned yourself nicely behind that memorabilia, haven't you?
Yeah, that was given to my younger brother a couple of seasons ago, actually, in the FA Cup game against Shrewsbury. So yeah, it was really good.
Ah, lovely.
Well, I'll tell you what, you couldn't have you couldn't be in a better place for this tonight, could you?
I was going to say, does he have one for every time someone scores and just moves them around?
Yeah, we've been given 4 shirts over the years. Surprisingly, we're really lucky. We've got one of Sacco, Cody, Gibbs White, and Raul.
Are you gonna? Let's have a look then, Sam.
Oh,
Show us anything. And whilst you're doing that, Keno, yes, I'll be at the Villa, or I'll be at the Villa game, Keno.
There's the Raul.
There's
one.
Raul.
I'm having to manipulate myself around the room with there's Gibbs White.
Gibbs White, who's currently on loan at Sheffield United.
Here's Connor Cody.
He never scores.
Connor Cody, fantastic.
And we've got Sacco here as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Lovely collection.
Saka, you have got a good collection there, mate. And who have you got on the back of your shirt?
Gibbs White for me, because that was the shirt.
Let's see the back of your shirt then quickly.
Oh, can you see that?
And why is Gibbs White your favourite player?
Yeah, because we've bumped into him a couple of times as well, because he gave me the shirt when I was a bit younger as well. And we bumped into him at, is it the designer outlet in the...
Cannock.
Oh, Cannock.
Yeah, the MacArthur Glen. We bumped into him there, and yeah, he's a really nice chap. He's doing well out on loan as well. So
I was going to say, you could take that shirt back and be like, he's not playing here this season.
How did you feel about him getting sent on loan? Do you agree with it or not so much?
Well, to be honest, I think he had something to offer us this year, because we need that creative midfielder that can go forwards and look to unlock defences. And I think he does offer that. But yeah, he's been smashing it in the Championship so far. And yeah, I don't see any reason why he won't come back to us an even stronger player. So yeah.
Well, let's hope. Amy, because you're a big fan of Gibbs White, aren't you?
I don't like Gibbs White. But I think he needs the season in the Championship. So I hope that he matures a little bit and gets confidence from quite a lot of game time and learns a lot, and then he comes back as a better player. But I think it was crucial for him to go out to the Championship this year, personally. But it's great he's got yourself as a fan, because I wouldn't get Gibbs White on the back of my shirt, but someone's got to.
I tell you what, Sam, Amy tells it how it is, mate. That's what I tell you. She
Maybe that's why they were scared to come and say hello to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, how did you find the game yesterday, Sam? Did you go or did you watch it on telly?
We went to the previous 2 games against Brentford and Spurs, but we couldn't get to this one. Obviously, it's down in Southampton, so it's quite a trek anyway. But yeah, I thought the performance was, to be honest, pretty average, not great. But at the end of the day, it's crucial that Jimenez got his goal that he deserves after such a head injury. And yeah, it was really well taken. And it's good that we can get 3 points without in fear of playing well necessarily. We don't need to play the luxurious football to win every single week. And yeah, I think we finally got the bit of luck we deserved.
Do you know what, Sam? It's because Blossom's if you're listening to on the podcast, Blossom, Amy's beautiful cat, likes to make an appearance on the show. But I think it's quite interesting, because I think Amy mentioned this at the top of the show, is the first three games, especially, we absolutely battered the statistics in terms of possession and shots, and lost 1-0. And the irony is, from the Southampton game, they edged the possession. I think they had something like 18 shots. Okay, only 5 on target, and we won the game. And it's kind of like I think overall, if it would have been a point apiece, I think no one would have probably complained. But it was nice to actually have that bit of quality that's been missing to nick the game 1-0.
Yeah.
I said yesterday at the start, I was like, they just can't not lose yesterday's game. I think it was definite. Don't think it was a must win, but it was definite cannot lose. So the fact that they got the win, it was a very good job.
Were you jumping off your sofa when Raul put the ball in the back of the net, mate? Who are you watching it with?
Oh, I was watching it with my family, my brother, my mum, and my dad, and yeah, we were all bouncing around as usual when we scored. To be fair, so yeah, we're really happy for him, to be honest, because obviously he's been what he's been through, and to be honest, I don't think I'm the only one in saying this. I'm in fear that Raul won't be the same player he was, but a player of his caliber. He's able to fight through these injuries, and he's still as dedicated as ever in the challenges. Remember, he cleared 2 off his head at the front post defensively, and yeah, I think he really proved that he still offers us quite a lot going forwards, and he showed that against Southampton.
Yeah.
And what's your take on the start of the season? Now we're sort of like 6 games in, 6 points. I think, is it with 14th now? Amy's 15th, 14th or 15th?
Yeah, 14th, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, positive anyway.
So what's your take on the start of the season, Sam?
Yeah, positive in the way we've played under Lager. I think give him time to adjust. Next 5 or 6 games, hopefully we can pick up a bit of consistency. And to be honest with you, I think we need to sign Sven Botman and Renato Sanchez. I think them 2 would completely change us because we have so many different options. Botman in centre-back, and I'd say probably alongside Bolly, because I think they're probably most comfortable in the back four. And Renato Sanchez in the Euros was like a rock for Portugal in the midfield. So I think he would really offer us something brilliant in the midfield.
It is rumoured that he will be coming, should he be fit, in January, and I think we are those 2 players. I think Amy's probably the same as me. I do worry that we're a little light in midfield. We've really got Neves, Moutinho, and Dendoncker. Yeah. If God forbid an injury or 2 there, I mean, Amy, are you worried about that at all?
I'm not worried about it at the moment. Maybe the time comes. I do think there's a bit of. I think that's where it lacks at the moment in the midfield. Obviously, João doesn't move as well as he did a few seasons ago. So I think it's probably surprising that they maybe didn't get anyone in that position in the summer. But I think the transfer window probably wasn't for Wolves or in general what everyone expected it to be. So I guess it's just the injury side of things. But I think Neves is playing when he's on his day some of the best football I've seen him play, to be honest. I think he's just getting better and better. So I'm not too concerned. I think it'll click. I think I think Sam just touched on, is still a settling period of Bruno. I mean, he's only had 6 games really. He hasn't really brought any of his players in, so to speak. So the players are adapting and finding out how he likes to play. They've got a new training regime. So I think it's a bit of a learning process at the moment, but hopefully we can just get a few more good results under our belt.
100%. And Sam, would you make any changes ahead of Newcastle? What are your thoughts? What would your team be? What would your formation be?
Well, I'd love to see us try and change into a 4 at some point, just because I think that's how we'll evolve and probably be able to attack teams with that extra body in midfield / attack. I think Daniel Podence has really something to offer in that number 10 role. But to be honest with you, at the minute, I do feel we're probably more comfortable with the back 5. I think Traore should probably come in for the next game because I think he's unreal on his day, pretty unstoppable. And to be honest with you, I think Hwang Hee-chan does have something to offer. I think his first touch, to be honest, is a little bit questionable. But other than that, when he's turned and driving at players, I think he can look quite a good threat for us. And for, I think, something like 8 mil, I think it'd be probably quite a safe purchase for squad depth.
I'll tell you what, Sam, there was another, he's got the nickname The Bull, don't you?
Yeah.
There was another bull that's first touch wasn't very good. but his second touch used to hit the back of the net. And if he's anything like that, I'll be very happy. He looks. I've seen him. To be honest, considering he was South Korean, I didn't expect him to be. I can see why he's called the Bull. He's built. He's probably not as built as a Dharma, but he's quite stocky and strong. He's very, very strong. He's very, very fast. He's still, I think, adjusting to the Premier League, but he does look like a player. He's very hungry. He seems to know where to go in the right positions. I think our front line, you know, when you look across all of our front line, it looks really, really good. I thought Daniel Pedence, I was expecting more of him coming into this game after the back of his cameos in the last 2 or 3 games. It didn't quite get going for him. Obviously, he dropped Trincao to the bench. I think Traore will probably come into the starting lineup. Would you keep Dendoncker in the midfield? This is to both Sam and Amy for the next game.
Oh, yes, I think I probably would, because I think I've always been a fan of Dendoncker wherever he plays. I think he's one of them hard-hitting midfielders, similar to Rodri or Fernandinho from Manchester City. He just breaks up the play, allows us to win possession, and he showed that against Spurs for the goal, actually. Hwang Hee-chan won it. He picked up the pieces, played it through to Pedence, who calmly slotted it away, cool as you like. So, yeah, I'd definitely keep Dendoncker in for me.
And you, Amy?
Yeah, I think I'd probably bring Neves back in for Matinho, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
They need that bit more of like pace, and it's just I think he's just a bit quick on the ball now these days, Neves. So, which I think they'll probably need against Newcastle.
I think against Brentford, Neves wasn't on it, was he?
No.
And when Neves isn't on it, we don't seem to tick. When he was on it, like in those early games, everything his range of passion and his vision was unbelievable. And when he's proper on it, we really, really are unstoppable. When he's slightly off, that's when we tend to struggle. Do you think Newcastle are going to come and be very defensive and just rely on the break to try and grab a result? They need a result rather than opening up.
They'll play 11 men behind the ball, 100%. That's classic Newcastle Steve Bruce away formation, isn't it? And I think they do quite a lot at home as well. So I'd be surprised if they played any differently. They're definitely hard to play against.
And what about you, Sam?
I think they'll try and give the ball to Saint Maximin as much as they can, because I think he's the player that can really cause a threat to us, I suppose, up against Semedo, who probably isn't that great defensively. So I think so long as we can keep Saint Maximin quiet and hopefully unlock their defence, which will be there will be 10, 11 men behind the ball most of the game, as Amy said. And so long as we can break them down and get a goal, I think we should see it out.
Absolutely, mate. And just before we get on to our final caller tonight, which is Steve, the legend from the Wolfpack Howlers. Mate, give us your man of the match and your performance rating.
I'm going to give an honourable mention for man of the match to Jimenez, because I think his goal was really well taken. However, man of the match for me, Jose Sarr, made a couple of crucial saves. It was a great assist for the goal. And I think he deserves a man of the match. Performance rating, though, I'd probably go 6.5 or 7, because we got all 3 points. But I think, to be honest, if we had conceded, I don't think any of us would be in the same mood we are in now, to be honest, because it wasn't the best performance.
Wasn't pretty.
Wasn't pretty, but sometimes, mate, you just have to get the result. And the pressure on that Newcastle match would have been immense. And there's still pressure on it because we still want to win it. But just the fact that we've got that win, if we can back it up with another win and enter the international break on 9 points and well and truly cemented in mid-table, we'll take that. Sam, thank you. You talk really, really well, mate. Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on. Good to meet you.
Again.
Yeah, thank you for having me. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care, mate. And we now have the man, the myth, the legend.
Hi.
Hello, mate.
How are you doing? Okay.
Yeah, are you?
I'm okay. Yes, not just coming from work. Yeah, so been a busy day.
how's how's the
Working?
Wolfpack? How's the Wolfpack Howlers?
We're okay. We're not too bad. We're a bit bit gutted that Nuno's gone. So our tunes have gone. But yeah, we're working on new material. New material.
Bruno and Nuno. At least there's not too much like sound change from the
That's
actual name.
true. But we have that kind of loyalty for Nuno, so we're thinking, do we put that? I don't know. You know, it's one of those.
Got to start from scratch.
Yeah, you can't put Bruno in the in place of Nuno. It's like the Nuno and a Dream song. You can't do it, can you? It's just knowing it. And Bruno's Barmy Army. It's a bit repetitive for you to play that all the time.
Someone that's a bit more creative musically needs to come up with a new chant.
I'll tell you what, Steve. I'll have a think. And I'll try and come up with a song that I think could work. I'll send it over to you to have it go, and you can put some words to it or something like that.
We're open to suggestions, Dave. So please shout them out.
I'll tell you what, just on the Nuno sidetrack, I did actually feel really sorry for him yesterday against Spurs. I think he's just not getting it at Spurs, and I do just feel really sorry for the guy. I don't want him to fail, and I feel like he may be starting to. Anyway,
I think he's doomed from the start there. I think, isn't he?
I got slammed after the first we got no points and they got 9 points, and I said, if we carry on playing like this, we're going to finish above Spurs, and I got slammed for it. Well, we're only 3 points behind them. I tell you what, we're only 1 point behind Leicester, and they're apparently Champions League.
That's it. Well, Spurs stats are quite shocking, aren't they? You know, least shots, least chances created, and everything as well. I think Nuno's inherited quite a bad team. Really, quite obviously got the superstars in the team. But I thought for the first 3 games that we played this season, I thought we were absolutely wonderful. Just very, very, very unlucky, weren't we? You know, and then we had that bad result against Brentford, and then I finally got to a game. I missed all the games because of all the gigs I've had. To Spurs in midweek, and that bad first half, but the second half was a lot better. So
can I say, Amy, Steve is in the social butterfly club like you, because I've asked him a few times about coming on. Dave, I will be on, but we've got a gig, and he's like busy. They're busy gigging and doing stuff, so it's been difficult. So I've only just managed to get him in tonight because he's coming from work.
We're supposed to yesterday. I had a chance of a ticket to go to Southampton, but I had to do some work yesterday, unfortunately. But you were actually sitting right in front of my twin brother, Dave. Believe it or not, my twin brother, his little daughter. He's actually on your film. You turn the camera around, and my twin brother, he looks nothing like me. He's quite handsome.
I was like, you should have known.
You watched the vlog, Match Day vlog, then?
I watched the vlog. Yes, it's on there. You know, you turn back towards the crowd. There's a man walking his little daughter towards the front, and that's my twin brother. So you'll see it on there. Have a look on there. It's about 47 minutes into it, I think he said it was. So yeah, have a look at that if you can. But yeah, I hope they're going to be going to all the games now, because it's calmed down a lot now. Thank God. You know, it's all good.
When's the next Wolfpack Howlers booking then?
I think it's actually quite a way off, Dave. We had a couple we had lined up. But I think a couple got cancelled, and so I think we're looking at the one I know about in my head is actually a pre-match in the fan zone before the Chelsea game. I think that's in December. That's quite a way away, unfortunately.
I'll definitely get you on the vlog for that.
But, thank you, mate. Well, hopefully we'll get some more gigs before then. But yeah, it's we'll see. We've obviously got to get back into it again and get some more songs on the go, and so it's all. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
So, did you manage to watch the game yesterday?
Watched parts of it, yeah. Watched bits of it. I was a bit concerned because we were getting battered first half, weren't we? But Sarr, I've got to say, I'm very impressed with him. He's like a very, very good signing, and obviously fantastic for Jimenez to get his goal. You can see the delight on his face and the relief for him, not just for him, for the fans as well. You know, it was a special moment. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really lovely to see, wasn't it?
It was, mate. It was, and I agree with you. I was towards the end of the first half. Southampton were in the ascendancy, and I was just hoping to get to half time, to be honest. And we did. And although saying that, Semedo had another great chance, didn't he? In the first minute.
Yeah.
I think he was that worried about putting it wide, wasn't he? Yeah, he just hit it to close to the middle of the goal as he could, I suppose, didn't he? Yeah, it's got a lot of our players have got to get the shooting boots on it now, because they've got to get some practice in, because the chances we've had, we've got to start burying these chances, and hopefully the springboard is there for Jimenez to score some goals now and get that confidence back into the team, because we have been playing pretty well. Obviously, Brentford game aside, we're looking like a good passing side, and we are getting a lot more of the ball, a lot more possession. So I'm quite excited, really, for the future. And hopefully, January we get a couple more signings in as well. It's looking up for us. It really is. So
and don't forget, we've got Neto to come back yet as well.
Exactly. And when's he back, Dave?
Well, I was WhatsApping him earlier on today, like not, but now apparently, according to Bruno, he's got a chance of being back sort of November, December time, end of October. Yeah, it's hard to know, isn't it? He's going to get back into training. I mean, I think he's posted a picture of himself looking pretty fit on his Instagram account, apparently. And, he just needs to come back, because I think he had something that we haven't got. He's very direct, and he's very much in the Jota mold. And I know people go on about why did we let Jota go, but I think that was because they had Neto and him getting injured. But as I say, would he still be with us if he hadn't got injured? Because it does a lot. He was very much coveted.
He was.
So will he come back the same player?
That's it. Exactly. The same with Jimenez, weren't they? The form of their lives, and then it gets taken away from them. But that could be our blessing, couldn't it? I mean, he adds that bit of flair for us, doesn't he? That little bit extra, or something, creating something out of nothing.
I think he'll play well under. I think he'll play well under the style of play that Bruno is trying to implement as well.
I think so too. He's just got that bit of magic, hasn't he? It's exciting. It's like a new player, wouldn't it? Something a new player. So
if Johnny can get back at some point as well, that'd be like 2 new players.
Oh well, we'd have both. We'd have all the cover we need then for the on those wide positions. Like you say, that central midfielder and that extra defender, and then it looks a really, really strong squad, mate. I mean, what would your man of the match be and your performance rating from yesterday?
It was solid, but it wasn't pretty, was it? So I'm going to give it I'd give it a 7. But then I think Sarr definitely gets man of the match. I mean, he was some crucial saves he made in that game, so I think he kept us in it. So for me, it's Sarr, definitely man of the match. But Jimenez, got to give him a big mention and a big up as well. Very, very happy for him for what he's been through. But Sarr will get the man of the match for me.
I'll tell you what, though, Sarr come in for quite a lot of criticism, and then he really showed what he was about. I mean, that double save, for example, that he made was fantastic save. And then I think Amy mentioned this, the way he distributes the ball. I mean, he saw that to hit that ball, to kick it as far as he did, perfectly for Jimenez to challenge for the ball and see that. If you watch it, he's got the ball a little bit in his hands. He sees it and he kicks it and he goes. I mean, like Amy said, in 2009, the last time a keeper from Wolves got the assist. So I mean, I can understand why people gave him man of the match. I think that'll give him a lot of confidence as well. That he played so well, kept a clean sheet, and got the assist. Both of you, would you make any just changes for Newcastle? We've asked this for the next game. Just before we finish, we're just in our last 5 minutes of the podcast.
I'll let you go first, Steve.
I think, I think Newcastle, it's going to be very much them sitting back, isn't it? That's what they normally do. It's usually 1-1, isn't it, these games with Newcastle? Quite drab. We need that flair play to come on. The flair needs to be there. So obviously, we're thinking of Podence. He's got to come on to create that bit of magic. But I think, for me, this is a big chance for Neves to come back in a little bit as well. Ping those balls, but to the flanks, So just adding that extra, that quick snap pass and dragging people away. So I think Neves deserves a little chance in this game. But that's it, really. Obviously, hoping that Jimenez is on from the start as well. We haven't mentioned Silva, have we?
No,
what were your thoughts?
Forgotten about him, really.
I didn't think he did much against Tottenham. I thought he had it was a big opportunity for him against Tottenham, and I didn't think he did very much at all. It was which is a shame.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Now Raul scored. You just want him to come on and score, but now Hwang's here and Jimenez is back. I just can't see him starting.
I think He-Chan's ahead of Silva in the pecking order.
100%. 100%.
He's
He's Bruno's player, though, isn't he?
Yeah, totally. What do you reckon is best for Silva then to go out on loan?
Do you know what? There's a few people said that, but will they send a £35 million player out on loan? I don't feel like it's a bit of a. I don't know whether they feel like doing that is admitting defeat. Maybe he does need that.
I think he does that, doesn't he?
I can't see him. I think it's going to struggle for him to get into the team. And when Neto's going to get back, I mean, you look at He-Chan, Pedence, Trincao, Traore, Raul. I've probably missed someone else on as well in front of him to get in the team. I mean, he is a central striker, but I think He-Chan can play that position as a central striker as well, and he's a lot stronger. I don't know. I like Fabio. I think he's got something about him. He just. I was just disappointed against Tottenham. He just seemed non-existent, and I think that was a big chance for him to impress, and he didn't.
I completely agree. I think his runs weren't the best were there either. You know, you see the players trying to see where he could get that run from, and it just wasn't happening. He wasn't making the right ones. He looks a bit more beefier this season, but he's still getting knocked off the ball too easy for me as well. So I'm worried for him. I think he needs to go out and get some confidence.
He played in the under-23s apparently and scored. But
really?
There's his level. He's back in the under. He's in the under-23s, getting game time. At the moment. He is only still 18 or 19.
Yeah, he's only younger now, but I think he needs to go out and get some confidence, get some goals in him. That's what he needs to do. So, anyway, sorry, Amy, what are you going to say about the team for Newcastle? Sorry,
I was enjoying listening to you talk.
I digressed there a little bit.
No, it's fine. We're not spoken about Fabio, and it's a good one to state, isn't it? That he's not really seems to get a look in the league, and but yeah, it's a shame for him. Really, I agree. I thought it was a time for him to really hit the ground running against Spurs, so it was a bit disappointing. Because I want him to do well. I really want him to do well. And those little glimpses that you've seen of him, you can see his quality. But he's just not done anything yet, has he? But hopefully he'll come on at some point and he'll score a goal and everyone will get behind him and all that stuff. But yeah, I think I'd bring Neves. I think I said it earlier. I'd bring Neves in to midfield on Saturday. Saturday? Yes, it's Saturday, isn't it? But apart from that, maybe start Dharma. I think if they can get that pace against Newcastle straight away, I think it might work in their favour a bit. But I was pleased. I think if the Southampton are a very similar team to Newcastle, aren't they? I think the only reason that he may change it is because we're at home, not away. I think if you've got to try and be a bit more attacking when you're at home, haven't you? So I think that's probably why he may make the changes. But if he plays that team on Saturday and they win and it's not 1-1 against Newcastle, then I'm not gonna complain.
I'm wishing for two things or three things at the weekend against Newcastle. One, we score in the first half, because it seems like we've forgotten how to score. Even last year, how to score in the first half. We've not scored a goal in the first half. Two, we score and we're taking the lead. And three, we go on and score a couple more. And the last sort of 10, 15 minutes, we can just relax and do a few olays. That would be nice. And
it was a bit squeaky bum time when they put 6 minutes on the board yesterday.
Oh, Amy, could you? It was like 6 minutes. But you could see it because there was it Semedo that was down for quite a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
so
he
I
had
thought
cramp,
we could
wasn't
see
it,
it coming and all the substitutions. So, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Beto Sanchez, greetings from Mexico. We had a guy from Los Angeles the other day as well. So they watch from and join in from all over the world, which is fantastic to see. Welcome and love and best wishes to your family, whether you're in the UK or you're in Los Angeles or Australia or Bangkok, or as this chap is, Mexico. We love you all and we really appreciate you tuning into the channel. Obviously, if you've enjoyed this tonight, please smash a like on the video. It takes you just a second. It lets YouTube know that you enjoy it. If you're watching it back, leave some comments, consider subscribing. And of course, the podcast will be out on Tuesday morning if you like to listen to the audio back. Steve, absolute pleasure to have you as our final guest tonight. Amy, You can
Good
see
to
how
see.
everyone's missed you. You can't go absent without leave for that long again. We need.
I'll try
we
my
need-
best.
I know. They miss you, and they miss Blossom as well, who's a little celebrity as well. But it's, as you can see, everyone's really glad to have had you back on the channel, and we will be recording in probably during the international break. We'll probably record a podcast as well, which probably need to go out. Sam says, "Good one, Dave and Amy, and Will Martin, Wolves Away."
Always.
Thanks, Dave, Amy, and Blossom, and of course all our guests. Jason says we need Blossom. Merv,
Maybe
good night,
she
Amy,
needs to
Bob,
just
and
do it when
guests.
I can't.
And great chat. And yeah, our guests tonight, which was Paul, Sam, and Steve. Yeah, Rob, Manny was asked about Manny. Manny was hoping to come on tonight, but I think he must have got waylaid with something, because he's running the marathon at the weekend to raise money for dementia. So check out if you can help donate towards that to get him over the 100k for the year. It would be amazing. He's doing the London Marathon at the weekend. So we wish him, obviously, well with that. So from myself, Steve, and Amy, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Always Wolves.
Thank you. Bye.